we get it. English is so confusing. There's so many words that are alike that might mean the same thing or not. Like for example, accept and accept. They're exactly the same pronunciation, but they're written differently. And also, they're used differently in sentences. And that is why in today's video, I'm gonna help you cover 5 commonly mistaken words in English, where we're gonna see their pronunciation, how they're used, and what are their meanings. Don't forget to have a very big thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on the little post notification, and without further ado, let's get started. First, commonly mistaken words in English are accept and accept. The first commonly mistaken words in English are accept and accept. Well, as much as they might have the same pronunciation, as you can see on the screen, they're not the same thing. There's accept and accept. But the first one people like say as accept, which is not the right pronunciation. Read it as accept. Both the same words have the same meaning. But what is accept actually? Accept with the A that a lot of people like say as accept, which is not true. This means to agree to take something from someone. For example, do you have cash? Because they don't accept credit cards. Or accept might also mean to say yes to an offer or an invitation. For example, they invited me to their birthday party and I accepted it. Never ever again say accept, but it's accept. So accept, the first meaning is yes, I am allowing, I am saying yes to a certain situation, saying yes to a certain offer. For example, again, I invited them to my birthday party, but they didn't accept the invitation. The other word is accept, which means but not. Look at this example. The museum is open every day except Mondays. So this means that the museum is open every day, but not on Monday. So Monday is not open. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it is open. So when you use the word except, it means that, but not. Another example might be, everyone was there except Emma. So everyone was there, but not Emma. Or you can say it as, everyone was there except for Emma. So this means that everyone was at the birthday party, everyone was where you are supposed to be, except for Emma. So accept and accept have the same pronunciation, but you just have to learn how to use them in a sentence. The first accept we looked at was to say yes to an agreement or take something from someone. And the second one was but not. Everything is there, everyone is there, everything is open except on a given day, or except for a person, or except for a given situation. The second commonly mistaken words is much and many. Yes, we already know how to use much and many. We already know how and where you cannot use it, but there's some people or even some situation where you're like, should I use much or many? For example, how much or many money do you have? What can I do? For much, you have to know that it's used for uncountable nouns. These are things that you can't count. For example, sugar. How much sugar do you want? How much money do you want? And then many is for countable nouns. For example, chairs, for example, cups, things that you can count with your fingers, things that you can see and you can actually count them. The one thing they have in common is that they all mean that it's a large number of something. So how many things do you want? How much sugar do you want? So basically just represent a large number of something. This, for example, as I said, how much sugar do you want in your tea? How much money do I owe you? How many things did you buy today? How much time do I have left? How many cups do you have? One thing that you should know is that we usually use much and many in negative sentences or when we're asking questions. For example, I don't have much time. So basically, I don't have much time is of course a negative sentence because you're like, I don't really have a lot of time. I don't have much time. Or many is like, I don't have many things to give you today. Or I don't have much money. It's mostly used in negative sentences or in questions. For example, how many things you want? How many teacups you want? How much money do I owe you? As you can see, they're questions. But what about in positive sentences? I can use a lot of, I can use lots of, I can use plenty of. To show you this very well, let's use the example I've been using. For example, I can say, I don't have much time left. That is much is uncountable now because time, we cannot count time. So how much time do I have left? That is a question. Or I don't have much time left. That is also a negative sentence. But if I was using a positive sentence, you can say, I have plenty of time left. I have plenty of time left, or I have a lot of friends. I have lots of things to give you. Or you can say that's in a positive sentence, but in a negative, instead of using these ones, use much and many. Again, it is not wrong to use many and much in positive sentences. Like for example, I have many friends. Yeah, that is correct, but it is really nice, or it sounds more native to use plenty of, lots of, and a lot of. The third commonly mistaken words in English is effect and effect. Again, these two words have the same pronunciation, but they don't mean the same thing. Let's start with the first one, as you can see on the screen. So the effect, firstly, is a verb. This means to influence or to have an impact on something. For example, both buildings were badly affected by the fire. They're badly affected by the fire. So basically it means that the fire caused an influence, it caused an impact on the buildings. While the other effect is a noun, and this is the result of an influence. As you can tell, the first one, this is having an impact on something, it's having to influence something. So the fire influenced the building, they were badly affected. They influenced the buildings to be caught by fire. And the effect is like now the result of that influence of the effect. For example, I took a pill for my headache, but it didn't have any effects. It didn't have any impact on me. It didn't help me. This is how you have to know that effect, which they have the same pronunciation in American pronunciation, but in British they have differently. So effect is a verb. As we say, to influence or to have an impact on something, to have an effect on something. While effect is a noun, and this is like a result of something. If there was a fire that happened in a given forest, it had an impact on the buildings because it made those buildings get on fire. And the effect of that was that they caught on fire and maybe they burnt down. And now the fourth commonly mistaken word is few and a few. Although these words might look like the same thing, just because they added a little bit of a means that they have the same meaning, which is not true because they have different meanings. Let's start with few. Few has a negative meaning. It shows a shortage of something. For example, few people could speak English, so it was really difficult for me. I said few is for a negative meaning. So you use few for something, it means that it had a negative impact on you. Few people could speak English, so it badly affected me because it was difficult for me. But if I use a few, which is used for a positive meaning, it talks about a positive quantity. A few people could speak English and they helped me a lot. As you can see, few people could speak English and it was really difficult for me. And a few people could speak English, which they really helped me a lot. A few of them could speak and they really did benefit me. But few of those people could speak English and it was difficult for me. Even it applies, few and the few can be applied for countable nouns. But if you're talking about uncountable nouns, things that you cannot count, use a little and little. Again, as for few and a few, little is for negative things. I have little time to spare, I have little time, so basically you don't have a lot of time. But if I use, for example, a little, it means I have a little time left to play with you. We can watch a movie. You can tell by saying that, okay, when it is little, it means that is a negative thing. You don't have much time. We can do anything. But if I say I have a little time left, so that we can do something else, we can maybe go for a walk, we can watch a movie, and say and other things. So as I said, few is for negative meanings and a few is for a positive meaning. And same thing, little for negative meaning and a little is for a positive meaning. Now for the last batch of the 5 commonly mistaken words is each and every. Something that these 2 words share in common is that they state something that is singular. It is one thing. But how can we identify this? For each is, for example, if there is a group of people, each is like an individual, it's an individual person in a group of people. For example, each person, it's like maybe there's a lot of students, but each person, a person individual, or each thing individually. If there is a group of trees, I can say each tree, which means I'm meaning a tree individual, one tree, another tree, and another tree. While for every, it's like a lot of things that are grouped as one thing. So basically, that one thing is represented as one thing. For you to understand this, let me give you an example. Every artist is sensitive. Well, since we see that every is for a lot of things that are grouped as one, notice that every artist is sensitive. I didn't say every artists are sensitive. Why? Yes, each artist is sensitive, but like we took artists all over the world. So basically, there are a lot of artists in each and every country, in each and every area, but we group them to make it one thing, which makes it every artist is sensitive. Notice that we didn't use are and we used is, and this is a common thing that a lot of people like saying. If there is every, they let's say every artist are sensitive. Every means that it is a lot of things that are grouped as one batch of thing. For example, if I have a group of teacups and I put them in a box, it's gonna be identified as one box. A group of, for example, markers, and I put them in a box, they're gonna be identified as one thing. Same thing. So every artist is sensitive. It means all the artists in the world grouped in one, grouped somewhere to make one thing, which make us say every artist is sensitive. Now, if I was to use each, I will use it as each artist sees things differently. Every artist is sensitive. All of the artists in the world grouped as one, they is sensitive, but each artist sees things differently. As you said, each is from when there's like a group of things or like one group of things, but one thing individually. So that group of artists, each artist is sensitive, but every artist is sensitive, but each artist sees things differently. So one person individually sees something differently, and another artist will see something differently. As in, I'm talking about this as one person. Another example for you guys to understand this is, I say, Jessica wore earrings on each ear. As you know, Jessica, of our person, so she's a person, she has 2 ears. So if I say Jessica wore earrings on each ear, then this means that each individual ear. But what if I say Jessica wore earrings on every ear? Remember, ear is like when I use every, it's when I'm presenting a lot of things as one thing. So say, does it mean that Jessica has a lot of ears and then she took one of them and started putting earrings on, for example, 10 ears? No, she has 2 ears. And this brings me to my next point. When it is for 2, this is where you use each. Well, when you mean like each person or each individual person, we use 2. But when it's more than 2 or when it's more than 3, this is where we can use, for example, every. So if, for example, I have 10 fingers and I was supposed to say Jessica wore fingers on each finger, or I can say Jessica wore fingers on every, Jessica wore rings on every finger. Because when I have 2 things, I can use each, but it's more than 2, when it's 10, when it's 20, I can use every. Again, a summary for this is each is used for one individual person, one individual thing, one tree, one dog, one person, one TV. But every is for one group of things, a lot of individuals, a lot of things that are grouped together, making one thing. Now I bet that you know how to use all of these words nicely and correctly. Not only will it help you with your writing skills, but it will also help you with your pronunciation. So whatever you said is correct, native, and it sounds really good with no mistakes. Don't forget to give a very big thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on the post notification. Go check out also other videos in my channel. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye-bye.